Hello, my name is John Maloney. I'm a sophomore elementary ed major from South Florida, Maine. I'm on the women's basketball and lacrosse team here. Tonight I'll be introducing my dad, John Maloney, who's inducting his friend and former teammate, Steve Chase.
That's people who knew me when I went here, to have my daughter introduce me. I'm about to cry over it. It's very emotional, and she's known when Brienne was born. The first person to come and visit was Steve, before even one of my family members from back home. So he's known Brienne since the inception. Truly honored to speak. I'll try not to shake too much. On behalf of Steve, me and Steve met, and I still can't believe we're still friends to this day, the way we met. I came on campus as a junior college transfer. I came up in the spring of 1990 to visit. I was here for about less than 3 hours, Matt, would you say? Probably the shortest recruiting visit coach ever had back then. But we were going to Hawaii. I was coming. So, I have no problem saying that. I came to St. Joe's because I went to Hawaii. So Matt Nelson, brought me around campus and stuff, and brings me over to the cafeteria. I meet some of the players. There's this scrawny kid with a Walpole basketball jacket on. Starts like harassing me. I'm like, who the heck is this kid? He's like, yeah, we beat you last year in the tournament, da-da-da. And I'm like, dude, I graduated high school 2 years ago. He thought he had beat my alma mater in the tournament his senior year, and he thought I was that guy. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, I remember driving home. I'm like, that guy, I don't like that guy. I'm like, So then I, come in the next fall, like I said, and become teammates with Steve. And every road trip, for some reason, they put me, Steve, and Greg Collymore, 3 guys from Massachusetts together, on all the road trips. I'm still not sure why we got singled out like that, but that's how it went. So we had some really, good times on road trips and stuff like that. Steve I could sit up here and talk about his, no, he doesn't have athletic ability. Talk about his defense, no. Steve's job. Let's talk about what the New England Patriots talk about. Do your job. Steve's job was to shoot the ball, and he loved shooting it, let me tell you. As you see in the program, he shot almost 1,000 three-pointers. I don't know how he can lift his right shoulder. He definitely has arthritis from all those shots. But I thank him, because to this day I still hold the single-season rebounding record because of all his misses. So I thank you for that. Steve's dad at all the games. Steve's dad would leave notes on my door. A 30-pack. I was 21, Brienne, at the time. In my room, keep rebounding my kids' shots. So that was it. Back then, we were obviously an NAIA school, a little different recruiting process than what Robbie deals with right now. But we were just talking about it. Steve was one of 6 guys that scored at least 1,000 points on that team, and I had the honor of playing with them for 2 years. Steve was captain, junior and senior year. He, part of that core group of seniors, him, Heater, Mike Kelly, and Ronnie Lamming, that went back-to-back NAIA National Championship trips. But Steve's biggest quality, and still to this day, is loyalty. If my kids learn nothing else from him, or his kids learn from him, is loyalty. Ever since 1990 we became friends, he has always been there for me. For the ups and downs, the births of my children, everything. I could count on him. I could call him at 1 in the morning. I'm truly, truly honored to stand up here and represent him and call him more than my teammate. He's one of my best friends, and I love him to the day I die, and I'm so proud of everything you did and accomplished here. And I know your family, especially your brother, Rob from Dover, is very, very proud of you. It's a proud moment for the Chase family. Obviously, all his nieces and nephews made the trip. 2 of his brother-in-laws surprised him. That's the type of guy he is. It's about 10 guys that are former teammates of his that are here. And again, I'm just truly honored to be up here speaking on Steve's behalf. And further ado, Steve Chase.
Thanks, John. That actually wasn't too bad. I thought I've heard him say a lot worse, so I'm shocked that he said that was going to be bad. So thanks, John. I really appreciate it. I'd like to start by thanking President DeLugos for having us here tonight, Director of Athletics Brian Curtin, and the whole Hall of Fame committee. This is a great evening for me and my family, and I really appreciate it. I graduated St. Joe's in 1993, and when I look back, I have so many tremendous memories, whether it was the school aspect of it, or whether it was the basketball part of it. It really was a tremendous 4 years, and still today, there's probably not a day that goes by that I don't think about something to do with St. Joe's and what I learned or was taught here. I was very fortunate to play with a great group of players. So I'm up here tonight talking about these things, but really if I could do it, they would all be up here with me because they're the reason why I am up here. So between the guys I played with and my family, I'm very, very lucky that I had great people around me for the entire time that I was here at St. Joe's and in my entire life to have my family around me. So really what I'd like to do tonight is kind of go through and tell you a little bit about those guys and the people that were there for me and helped me get up here or helped me enjoy my 4 years at St. Joe's. While we were here for 4 years, and John mentioned it, myself, Ronnie Lamming, Jamie Heater, and Mike Kelly were 4 seniors, or 4 people that played all the years together. We won 2 NAIA District 5 championships. We were twice to the National NAIA Tournament. The year, that was my junior and senior year. My sophomore year, we lost in double overtime to Husson, and I think Cooley and I both can agree it probably wasn't our greatest games, right, buddy? So we should have gone 3 times, but you know we lost in the championship game. Then we got as high in 1991 as a number 2 ranking within NAIA Division II, which I'm very proud of today because they were all full scholarship schools that we were competing against for that ranking. And overall, I lost 1 game, the first game my senior year, and we went on to win 87 games over those 4 years. So those are all things that I'm really proud about. And the reason why I say that is we did it as a team. It wasn't one person. And if I look at all the guys that I played with, that was kind of the common thread. So what I'd like to do is dig in a little bit and tell you about some of those people. First, Coach Simons, I appreciate all that you did for me when I was here. You taught me hard work to be a team and not to be an individual. And it was amazing 3 years that I had with you. Plus, you got me in some of the best shape of my life. I've never been back to that same shape. But you really taught us all to, in some cases, want to strangle you. But as a group, it brought us all together. And to sit here with all these guys that played and here tonight, you know, you helped us bond and form those relationships. I want to tell you a quick story that Coach Simons did that was amazing. So we lost in double overtime to UMaine Machias my sophomore year. So, like I said, and gave Cooley a hard time, I think, I know for me, I think I went something like 0 for 10 or 12 or 13 from the floor. You know, it was not a great game. And he knew how upset we were. So when we came back to school the next year, he got all of us together, and we were the same group. I would say probably 10 of the 12 guys that played in that game came back the next year. So he brought us to a cabin early in our preseason activities. I don't know where it was. I don't know if you can recall where it was, but it was somewhere around here. So we went to a cabin as a group. We all had sleeping bags. We were sitting there saying, what are we doing? What is Coach Simons? Obviously, we're going to do some sort of conditioning thing in the woods or with sleeping bags. I don't know what he's got here. So what we ended up doing was spending an evening together as a group, talking basketball, getting to know each other even better. And then he took our program, and he made each one of us sign our picture in the program, which at the time when you're doing it again at that age, you're kind of like, all right, what's he getting at? What's the situation? Why is he doing this? And then at the end of the night, we cut up the program and threw it in the fire. And he had a whole point of getting us beyond what had happened the year before, and then we went on to win the next 2 District 5 championships. So, Coach, I think about that and what you did and the message you got through all the time. So thank you for all that you did for me. I appreciate it. Coach Chadbourne, who recruited me to come here, who told me that that gym was going to be in place, I think my freshman year, and I think he was only, okay, yeah, 10 or 12 years off, maybe 15 years off, but I appreciate that. I want to take just a quick story for Coach Chadbourne. He sat with me one night after a conditioning fun run and really set the tone for me of my whole 4 years. And I talked to you about it yesterday when I saw you, and it might not have been a big thing to you at the time, but to sit there and listen to me after I had made a mistake in conditioning and was told I was going to miss the next 2 days of conditioning, I sat there like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go back to Massachusetts. This, no way can this happen to me. And he sat in the dugout with me on the baseball field for about an hour talking to me about dedication and hard work and what you need to do if you want to be successful at St. Joe's. So that stuff, and you taking the time, you were a young guy at that point, and for you to take the time, and I guess I'm implying you're not young now, but that's, it's a whole different thing. Neither am I. So, I really appreciate what you did and taking the time to sit down with me and keep me on the straight and narrow path. There's also another coach that isn't here tonight, Coach Libby, who was around 3 of the 4 years I was here. He did a great job. The last coach, Coach Scheinman, that got the honor of my senior year, Coach Simons decided to go down and coach at Davidson College for a year, our senior year. So Coach Scheinman, who would have been our assistant coach, got the great job of having to coach us, a senior-laden team where we had all been together as a group for at least 2 or 3 years. And Coach, what I'll tell you is you came in, and I said it to you earlier, it wasn't about you, and I believe that was your first head coaching college job, right? So you would think he wanted to immediately put his hands on the team and try to, mold us to the way that he wanted, and he didn't. And you did that in a way that allowed us to go out and have a tremendous year and go to the national tournament. And we should have won our game in the national tournament. We didn't. We were up at halftime and blew a 21 or 25-point lead, but not that that bothers me still today, but. So what you did being selfless and putting us as a team before you, and especially as us seniors, was phenomenal. So thank you very much for all that you did. Let me touch on the guys that I actually played with and the guys that were still to this day guys that I think the world of. I'll start my senior year, which is kind of backwards, but that's kind of how I do a lot of things. There were 2 gentlemen, 2 kids that came in, one from Massachusetts, one from New York that went to a high school in Maine, Jamie McGarry and John Wassenberg. You guys took the torch that was handed to us by the people before us and continued to pass that down to Coach Senecola now. But you guys took a lot of heat. You really didn't. I don't know why I can't find Jamie, but where's Jamie? Oh, there he is. You two both took a ton of heat from all the seniors, and I really appreciate that you guys focused, took all that heat, and just kept working hard. And really what you guys did of taking the tradition of winning at St. Joe's, you guys took it to the next level and passed it down through several generations. And you guys both still are very active doing things and continuing to pass that down. So it was a pleasure to play with you two, and congratulations on fine careers here. All right, the next guy, he's the orange guy in the back, if anybody's noticed him. If you haven't seen any clips, I don't even know, were the cameras back that far, but video cameras? Steve Shula, one of the most amazing dynamic players. I played with him for 3 years, and he was tremendous. Most athletic person I've ever seen. 5'7", 5'8", could dunk. Everybody in the gym knew that he was going left because he was a lefty, and still no one could stop him from going left. So, Shu, it was a great pleasure. The way you threw yourself around the court and always gave us everything you could. We won a lot of games because you did that, whether you were walking into practice, with a limp or your back or your wrist or tape somewhere on your body. You always had something wrong. But that you continued to play and play at a high level. But thank you very much. We didn't have all those wins if it wasn't for you doing those things. There's another gentleman who isn't here, Marcus Smith. I played with Marcus for 3 years. Marcus was another tremendous player, someone that I think someday will be in the Hall of Fame. He formed with John Maloney, who was up here earlier, in my mind, the greatest front court that St. Joe's has ever had, where you had 2 guys that were 6'6" and 6'7", I'll return the favor. One guy, Marcus, was athletic. John was just, there. But no. But in saying that, just two tremendous guys in the front court. And Marcus, if you've met Marcus, Marcus was always serious. Marcus was always focused and was an absolute tremendous teammate. I only got a couple more guys, and then I'll stop talking, I promise. But I want to make sure, and I want everyone, when they leave tonight, to understand, again, how important these guys were and how important they continue to be to me, and how great it is that I got to play with them. The next guy, in my mind, is the greatest St. Joseph's basketball player ever to play. His name's Greg Collymore. This guy came. We played in the same league in high school. I knew him then. He was an unbelievable player. He came up here right away, was the best player on our team. And he came off the bench a majority of the time so that I could play my role, which, like John said, was to play more on the perimeter. Cooley, you sacrificing. You never complained about it. You could have. You were that good of a player that you could have demanded that people did things for you. You never did. And your selfless attitude was a joy to play with, and I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. I only have one issue with Cooley, and it's a pretty big issue. We did a Florida trip, and we went down. We played a couple Division I schools. So we go down there. Cooley had hurt his knee the year before, so we go and play Stetson University, which obviously we're going to get killed by Stetson when you think about it. We go, and we play a great game, and we're in the game all the way till late in the second quarter, to the point where it actually was running on the ticker at ESPN that there was a school, St. Joseph's of Maine, that was looking to upset Stetson. Now, our best player, our guy that we counted on night in and night out, forgets his knee brace for the game. So imagine if he brought his knee brace. I could be up here saying that we beat a Division I team. It was unbelievable. I could be telling everyone I know, but thank you very much for not bringing your knee brace and making it that much harder for us. So, all right, these next three guys are the three guys that I played all 4 years with: Mike Kelly, Jamie Heater, Ronnie Lamming. When we were freshmen, there were 19 other boys that got recruited to come here. So both coaches did a great job of lying to every one of the 19 of us that we were the only guy and we were definitely going to play, and you'll play right away and this will be great. As we all get to know each other, it was like every guy that you met in Standish Hall was like, yeah, I'm playing basketball this year, I'm playing basketball this year. But the reason why I tell everyone that is it's amazing that there was only 4 of us that made it all 4 years through. And I think that will be a bond that all of us will have till we're really old, is that we did. And we all have different stories and different things and experiences that we had of it. But it was tremendous to spend 4 years with these guys. They're great people. They were great basketball players. And again, like some of the other people I've mentioned, everyone sacrificed for the team, which you hear John talk about do your job with the New England Patriots. That's kind of amazing when you think you brought a couple guys from Connecticut in, you bring a couple people from all different walks of life, and we somehow all figured as a team to play together and to sacrifice for the other one. I took all the shots, or as many as I could, so I made a big sacrifice with, shooting it every time I touched it, so Jamie could play defense all the time, because I know he loved playing defense. So Mike Kelly, who isn't here, was the ultimate point guard. Got everybody involved. I can't tell you how many times Mike made sure that I would get a shot early that would go in to make sure that I was off and ready to go. There's a gentleman back there, Ronnie Lamming. Ronnie is one of the most unselfish players you could ever played with. He lived with Jamie Heater. They played the same position majority of the time, and Ronnie just worked and worked and worked all the time. Same attitude. There was never a moment that Ronnie wasn't ready to go. There was never a time that he backed down from a challenge. I hated when he covered me in practice. It was awful. It was all over me. But Ronnie gave so much for the team, and I really mean this. If Ronnie had went to any of the other teams we played in the MAC conference that we played in, Ronnie would have been a Hall of Famer at any one of those schools. But he chose to win more than he chose about himself and doing, scoring points, how many minutes did he get, all sorts of things like that. And we played on that trip that Cooley left his knee brace in his hotel room. We played Davidson. So Davidson, the Steph Curry, everybody's probably seen that. Another one that we were a little outmatched in that game, just pure size, Division I school. Ronnie came up huge. He had 6 or 7 3-pointers, had 25 points. So when you look at the level of player he was and how he sacrificed for the team, it was awesome, Ronnie. You're the best, and I really appreciate that. The last guy that I played with 4 years, Jamie Heater. If any of you were here last year, Jamie's was inducted into the Hall of Fame. James, first and foremost, he took the best offensive player on the other team. So that's like a dream to play with when you're someone who can't play defense, which I couldn't. I wasn't very good. So, James, I appreciate you allowing me to focus on the offensive end, and you shut people down from a defensive end. His hard work, persistence, one of the most unbelievable athletes I've met, the way you were always in shape and irritated everybody by finishing sprints first, always saying we should do more, why don't we run again, while the rest of us were like, what is he talking about? But just a tremendous player, and James, I really appreciate all that you did the 4 years. You helped us win a ton of games. So the last guy I'm going to mention is John Maloney. So John came to us, and he already told the story about how him and I met on campus. So right away, I figured when he left, like he did, there's no way he's coming back. We beat him in high school. He was irritating then. He seemed irritating that day, even though it wasn't him. So when it's all said and done, when he showed up, he was a guy right away that just gave us an attitude. Anybody who knows John, who's spent any time with John, his attitude, his demeanor, his no-nonsense approach, his say whatever pops into his head comes out of his mouth within about 30 seconds. He was exactly what we needed to go forward and continue where we were as a team. So right back at you as a friend. You're a great basketball player, and as a friend, you're even better as a friend and someone that enjoy. And to see Brianne follow in your footsteps, I'm just glad she doesn't have the number 50. John and I one time were getting gas driving back to Massachusetts, and he looks over and he's like, that's Reggie, the ref. And all the guy did is go like this, 50, and pointed at John. So even though he didn't have his uniform on, Reggie knew who he was and how many times he fouled other people. So, but really the people I played with were wonderful people, and really, were a great reason why I was successful. I'm going to talk briefly on my family, because my family is the other part of why I'm here and why it was such a great experience for 4 years. My Uncle Killer came to all the Saturday and Sunday games, and I said it to Joe Dwyer earlier, you'd have that 1 o'clock game on a Saturday where not that you weren't ready to play, but you definitely weren't as focused maybe as a Thursday night game or a Husson game. And your voice of yelling at all of us to wake up and get playing on top of coaches yelling at us worked and helped us a lot of times. So thank you very much. My brothers, Bob and Brian. Bob, my older brother, played 4 years college basketball. You never let up on me. You pushed me. You allowed me to play with your friends, which made me not scared when I got up to St. Joe's that I could compete and play against older people. I thank you for that and always being someone who was there for me. So my brother Brian, very proud of you and all that you've done in your life. I can never say anything more than that when it comes to who you are and what you've done. I appreciate your friendship through the years. We did just about everything together, and I really appreciate the support and the friendship that you and I have always had. So thank you for always being there for me. My parents, Bob and Mary, and John had mentioned before, they came to every game. So I live a little south of Boston in Massachusetts, so they made the 2.5-hour ride up here just about for every single game. It was always strange that they took 2 cars. Now that I've been married 16 years, I kind of understand. But at the time, I didn't know why they would drive 2 separate cars up here. But, Mom, you've been there for me my whole life, whether it was school stuff, whether it was basketball, supporting. She's a typical Irish mother that her sons could do no wrong, even though maybe we did a little wrong once in a while. But I really appreciate you always being there for me. And I'm going to tell one quick story. We lost to Farmington, who on a Saturday game where we had a few days off that. We were so upset. We had never lost to Farmington. We had only, I think, lost to Husson a couple of times in our division. So I'm driving home with my parents, and we get outside, and we were all upset. Jamie lost to his brother, right, Jamie? Which was, so we were all really upset. We played terrible. They ran on the court like they had just won the championship. And I go walking out with my mother, and I say to my mom, hey, you know what, I'll drive since you drove all the way up there. And my mother, who supported me on everything, right or wrong, always been there, turns to me and goes, you know what, I'll drive. I'm thinking you might miss the freeway. So it was a nice way of her really supporting me when I was down to say, and I think that was another game that I went 0 for 13 or 15 or something like that. But thank you, Mom, for everything. So my dad went to Bangor, Maine, went to Idaho, went to Dubuque when we played in the National Catholic Basketball Tournament. You always made the effort. You were always there. I can't say in words what you mean to me and what you've provided for me and the role model that you've been for me on hard work and to not give up. And with you before every game until I saw and we made eye contact during the national anthem, I wasn't ready to play. And you always found me standing there, and I always found you in the stands. But I really appreciate all that you've done for me, and I wouldn't have had any of the things that I've had in my life if it wasn't for you. But thank you for always going and being there no matter what the situation was. So, I'm very fortunate that I have a wonderful family and that I played with wonderful guys. It's something that I cherish every single day of my life, whether it was 20-something years ago, and when you look at overall your life, how short it was 4 years of your life. But it was an impactful and very important thing that carries with me forever. I'd also like to thank my wife and my daughter, Caroline and Cole, for listening to all the terrible St. Joe's stories and who this person is and who that person is. I'll have plenty more after this weekend for you, which is good. But thank you for a wonderful evening and listening to my stories about these guys and these people that are important to me. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you very much.